you are connected to Times Now Studios, and now we don't have the additional audio that that was being played. So can we go ahead with the interview?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Jarabica, thank you so much for speaking to Times Now, exclusively to Times Now. My first question to you is that did Mr. Choksi identify himself as Raj? And you have some WhatsApp chats also with you in which you have saved his number as Mr. Raj. Can you explain that?
Yes, sure. Good afternoon. So, yes, since day one, I met him last year, August. He introduced himself as Raj, and also, people in the restaurant, wherever we went, everyone welcomed him and said hi, called him as Raj. So this is how I knew him. He had a few different numbers on WhatsApp. So I always saved it, as Raj, and so on. But he also often texted me on Signal. That one was normally like US numbers. The WhatsApp was normally UK numbers. And the US numbers just came up with different names. Sometimes it was Bob and Judy and like really different random names. And after I just got and then he said always like, hi, it's Raj here. And then we talked in whichever number he contacted from.
Okay, Ms. Jarabica, one more question. When did you and Mr. Choksi became friends? And you were close friends. This is what appears from the WhatsApp messages. But was it something beyond the friendship also?
No, it wasn't. No way. It wasn't beyond the friendship. So as you might heard in my other already my other interview as well. So we were friends, and also he offered me some business opportunities. At the beginning, first he offered some opportunities to do with jewelry, and told me that that's what is that he said he retired and then he can help making money with jewelry. I told him that I'm not interested and that's not my background. So then after that, we started to, he started to propose me different business opportunities with properties. And he said that he's very well connected and helped me funding and investing and do property. Yes, he did started to, he started to like me and send me those messages. I never took it seriously. And I told him, sometimes in a joke way, sometimes in a serious way. I told him that, I'm in a relationship with a Hungarian guy and I'm really happy. And he's really not my, he's double my age and so on. So we never ever had anything beyond friendship or talking about.
At least from your side. Okay, Ms. Jarabica, one more thing. You have mentioned and you have said that he had gifted you some diamonds, some jewelry which were fake, which were not original. Is that correct?
Well, he gave me a bracelet in April, and he gave me a ring in May. And he said that it's a diamond. And then after reading, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so and I wasn't too surprised anymore after all these lies, and he didn't even presented himself. I always thought that he is a good friend for 1 year, and it turns out that he is a totally different person what I knew. So I am not surprised at all. I just but answering your question, I took it to a shop and they told me that the ring is not diamond. So
Okay, Barbara, now why we are doing this interview is that you have been in news in India for quite some time. Now, the lawyers of Mehul Choksi and even Mehul Choksi has given a complaint to Antiguan police, and he has made these allegations that you were very much a part of an extraction team, the team which extracted him, which allegedly abducted him, and you were someone who took him to one isolated bungalow in Antigua, and there, when you both entered inside the bungalow, 8 to 10 people came inside the bungalow and he was abducted. Mr. Choksi was abducted. So these are his claims. What you have to say on these claims?
Yeah, so first of all, regarding the choice of the Airbnb, the choice of the accommodation, he offered me, you probably saw on those messages as well, he offered me to book my flight ticket or book my hotel, which I never expected because which I never accepted because I thought, I can pay myself, and also I didn't want him to misunderstand our friendship, and I didn't want to accept any of these payments or booking for him. So after that, he was the one who asked me. He constantly called me and pushed me almost every day when I'm coming back to Antigua. And then he also asked me to at least promise that, please, this time you stay in the area really close to me. So again, for me, luring him and forcing him to come to my apartment, it was totally the other way around. He was the one who always, he wanted to come over, and he asked me to stay really close in the area to make sure that he can probably sneak out from home, and, we can meet for dinner, evening walks, coffee, and go to dinner to the local restaurant.
But why did he give those rings and jewelry to you? Why such expensive gifts were given to you by him?
Well, he took it. He has many of these in his. He keeps many of these in his office in Jolly Harbor, in one of his office, and he opened like a drawer which was like full of boxes of jewelry, and
Okay. Barbara, there is one colleague of mine, Mr. Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan. He also wants to speak to you. Madhav, over to you.
Sorry, who wants to speak?
Barbara, thanks for that.
Madhav
Barbara,
Das
I'd like to ask you
Gopalakrishnan,
a
he wants
simple
to speak to you.
How did Mr. Choksi tell you how he came to be in Antigua? Did he describe the circumstances ever to you, Barbara?
Did he? Can you repeat the question again, please?
Did he tell you how he came to Antigua and why he was in Antigua? How he came from India to Antigua? What were the circumstances? Did he ever discuss that with you?
No, never. And actually, the funny thing that when we met first in August, he said that he lived in Dubai, and we were, I was asking like, are you from Middle East? And he said yes. So he didn't even say originally he was from India. Later, I think in April, and of course, like, you could see the look as well, and he said he's from India, but he never told anything about his background or his real name. He said that he retired, and he said he had big businesses and he sold his businesses and retired. And he said that now he's into property and lands and hospitality, like he wants to do boutique hotel and he has a restaurant.
Right, and these gifts that he kept giving to you, expensive gifts, why did you think he was doing that? And really, you have also mentioned that one of those gifts later turned out to be fake, but why exactly do you think he was showering you with these expensive gifts?
Yeah, I mean, he told me, and you could see the messages, like I knew he liked me, but how he got these jewelry gifts, he opened up his cupboard and drawer, and it was like plenty of, full of jewelries. And he said that he's keeping some of them there, and he said, I just pick you one. And then he pretended that this is like nothing for him, and he just picked one and gave it to me. And he was really insisting to give it to me. I gave him back like 3 times, and he was like keep pushing, and he said that he will be very disappointed and upset if I can't even accept like a small gift from him. So yeah.
And did his wife know about either the gifts or the facts that you were meeting frequently?
No, I'm not too sure. I don't think he never. Hello? Can you hear me?
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Yeah, I don't think his wife knew about, because she said that she knew about the regular walks, and but I don't think that she knew about that I'm in the island.
Barbara, did you accompany him for a dinner on 23rd of May, the day he went missing?
No, apparently he got missing on the 23rd on Sunday, and the last time we met was morning. We went to La Carles Hotel. We went for a breakfast, and we drive down and we drive back, and we got back to Jolly Harbor, I think around midday. And I told him, because he knew I'm leaving, and I told him I'm going to Antigua after maybe Barbuda and back to Europe. So I told him that ready and go to the airport. And he was all day and the week before and the last few days as well. He wanted to keep convincing me to stay in Antigua. And I told him that I definitely won't stay, because I cannot just stay in Antigua all the time, and I have other things to do and business and come back to Europe as well. So he even made a joke that when we were leaving the hotel on that day after this breakfast, he was telling that he still can't believe, and he's so disappointed with me why I'm leaving, and I'm so difficult to convince. And then he also told me that anyway, I might see you in Dominica. And then he was laughing, and I thought that he was joking about it. And another, he told me that the next time I'm coming back, he's definitely, by that time, he's gonna buy a yacht that he looked for. That he told me that he has like a nice big villa in Cuba, and he's gonna buy a yacht, and we can go there. So actually that was the plan for June or July, that I might visit there. And then after that, I'm hearing the news that he was maybe following me to Dominica, or different news that I was driving with him, or he came to my apartment.
Mr. Gaston Brown, the Prime Minister of Antigua, made this claim that Mr. Choksi went to Dominica with his alleged girlfriend. This is what Mr. Gaston Brown told me in an interview.
No, definitely. I would never. I haven't gone with him to Dominica. So as I said.
Okay.
So I haven't gone with him to. I'm not his girlfriend, and I told him I will be leaving, and.
But Barbara, I just want to know one thing: that since he was a fugitive, he was living there, and since one theory has come out that he himself has orchestrated his entire kidnapping, and then blame was shifted to you and the other 2 Indians which are unknown. But do you really think, as you mentioned, that he told you that I'm going to Dominica and I'll see you next time we meet? So do you really think that he himself orchestrated this entire kidnapping to evade the pressure from the Antiguan government?
Oh, wow. I don't think he did, but I think someone did for him, because I know that he had a right-hand person in Antigua as well. He always had those, he had a really close right-hand person. He was having conversations, and he said that he has a very close, trusty person in Romania who is also helping with him some digital jewelry business. So I don't think it was like himself, but I think there is a chance that someone maybe helped him, and then when everything fall apart, I was the person that they knew I'm a tourist, I'm in the area, and they can probably, I don't know if it was himself or the lawyer or his trusty right-hand guy came up with the idea to get me involved in this story. But let me clarify one very rare, insane, or really funny thing, which I don't understand myself either. That you understand that you can see the messages and the relationship. That I know him from over 1 year, and he was like, I knew him as Raj and as a great, nice person. He was very, smart and nice to me, and he was one of my good or best contact in Antigua. And then I could have had, personally, if I'm a kidnapper or agent or anything crazy thing like what I'm reading in the media, I could have had hundreds of opportunities to quietly kidnap him, if that's the purpose, right? Because we had many, many evening walks. It was dark. We driving down like half an hour. He came, I was driving in my car, and we were driving in, quiet motorways, and we went different parts of the island. So
Barbara, sorry to interrupt you. One more allegation you carry, and that is that you were planted by Indian agencies. You were planted by Indian intelligence agency to honey trap him, to trap him so that he could be smuggled to Dominica, and he could be sent back to India. So this is also one allegation you have on your shoulders.
Okay, so it's so I'm continuing with this. If what you say now, if there is Indian agency like to do this so-called honey trap or kidnapping, then why we didn't do, or they didn't do it in the last 1 year, when there was like hundreds of opportunities, when he always wanted to come to my place. We had the evening. So why? Can you hear me? So why would we do, or would they do it in the busiest time, in the busiest area, in the middle of the day, in 5 p.m., when all the people is like a lot of, if you know the area, there's people going with golf cart, families walking there from beach, people sitting outside in the balcony. So I must say, that is impossible to kidnap someone, all those security cameras and the daylight on a Sunday afternoon in the busiest time.
Okay, Barbara, can you please name some influential people in Antigua or Dominica who used to come and meet Mr. Choksi, the people, those who were helping him off the record? Can you name those people now?
Oh, I don't know much of his people. I know that he's chef, the person who is cooking for him, but he's only doing his diet food. His name is Govin. I also seen that they got him involved in media, so I know Govin, and I know that sometimes he talks a lot with someone called John.
John.
I know he told me that he has someone.
All right, Barbara, very important point that you mentioned a little while earlier about Mr. Mehul Choksi, or Raj as you know him, saying that he would see you later in Cuba. What exactly did he mean by that, and what were those plans of meeting later in other countries or other islands? Can you give us more details on that?
Yes. So he was always, he was asking me if what other countries I've been in the region. And he asked me once, I think in April, he asked me if I've been to Cuba before. And then in May, he told me that he has a huge villa with pool, and I would really like it. And next time, maybe we should meet in Cuba. And he also told me that when he's gonna buy the sailing yacht, then he said that we can also meet or go to Cuba. And I just thought that, you know, this is like kind of as a future plan. But he didn't mention any more details than that when he would like to go. Just I know that he mentioned a few times, and it was something that in the summertime he or we would go there.
Barbara, did he also mention his close contacts with powerful people or politicians anytime when he met you?
No, he never met.
All right. And Barbara, can you also just tell us how many times did you meet Mr. Mehul Choksi, and over how long a period was this?
Yeah, sure. So first time I met him in August, and kind of like very briefly I met him in the where rented the Airbnb in the Harbor Island, and didn't stay much in Harbor Island because there is not much to do. So I went out, you know, to do different activities in the island. And on the last day, when I was checking out, and we were going to Coco Bay, and that time he was walking there, and he approached us and he introduced himself. He asked my number, but that time we met really briefly, I think once or maximum twice. And then when I came back to Europe, he was texting every month, or like I have a lot of messages about this, that he's every time and every month he's asking me like, when am I coming back to Antigua? And Antigua is so nice and it's the best place to be. And then I went back in April, and from that time onwards, our conversation became really regular. Like almost before I traveled, it was weekly, and when I was in Antigua in April and May, our conversations and meetings were like almost daily. But you know, and always he was the one. That's another thing that I don't understand, because always the plannings was in his hands. So, you know, he was the one who constantly, every day, I so many times I asked him, just give me some break, because I'm busy. I have Zoom calls. I want to relax. And every day he was the one that he was planning and booking things in different parts of the island. And he said that meet in the office, meet for lunch, if he can come to my place. So he was constantly booking and planning every minute of the day.
Barbara, what was Preeti Choksi's relationship with Mehul Choksi? They were living together in the same complex. And did you ever get a chance to meet Preeti Choksi?
I have no idea. I don't know what's their relationship or where they lived, how they lived. I never met with her, and I never been to their house. I only been in his area a few days last year, August, when I booked an Airbnb, which was a few houses down away. When he talked to me on my last day, when I was in the area. But other than that, I actually never even been to his particular island, because he lives inside in a gate. You know, there is the Jolly Harbor area, and then inside there is another island where he lives, and only residents going there. So I never even went near the place, except hotel booking. He told me at least to stay in the Jolly Harbor area, because that's like walking like 10 minutes away from him, and we can still meet for like walking or coffee, rather than if I'm in different part of the island.
Right. Okay. Also, can you give us more details about John, Barbara? Who exactly is this aide of Mr. Mehul Choksi, and what is his nationality? Do you have pictures of this individual?
Hello?
Yeah, this aide of Mr. Mehul Choksi, who you just mentioned, can you give us more details about this aide of Mr. Mehul Choksi? What's his name? I believe you mentioned just now was John. Do you know what nationality he is, and what really was his role?
I have no information or idea about these things because he never shared with me these things. He also had. He told me he had security, he had driver. It could have been that because he called a lot, someone called John. So it could have been that John is maybe his driver. But when we talked about business, he did tell me that he always keeps the right hand person, and he said that he has a close right hand person in Antigua, and he has someone he works closely from Romania, and he said that even though he retired, he's still keeping his connections, in different part of the globe. So that's all I know, but he never shared with me, details and names because we were not that close business.
Right, and just to understand, you are trying to say that he followed you to Dominica. Is that what really happened?
No, I don't think he particularly came to Dominica because of me, or I don't think he followed particularly me. But I think maybe his plan was, once he goes somewhere, which he hinted me the message, and being happy if I visit him in other country. That's what he told me, that's what he was hinting the message around April and May. But I don't think he particularly followed me to Dominica, that would be really, really crazy. But I just start to think that I was a backup plan, an alibi. If maybe, things going wrong in his or in their plan, then they thought that, they knew like I'm a tourist and I'm visiting there, and then they could maybe use me for to say that he is a victim in this situation, what they say, what they think happened.
Barbara, if I may ask you, where are you right now? Are you safe? And in which country you are currently located?
I'm not too sure if I should, disclose my exact locations. Yeah, but I am in Europe, so I came back to Europe, and I'm currently here. And I believe I should be safe. I hope so. I have nothing to worry about, and I'm sure that I'm safe. Why you asked that question?
No. I'm just asking, since so many allegations are being are being leveled against you. So I just asked you where are you? And one more request: can you show us your face, because you have kept the video off in the Zoom call. Hello.
Hear us. All right, that was Barbara Jabarica, in fact, speaking to us here in Times Now. We will try and reconnect with her at the very earliest, but giving us a lot of details as far as her interaction with Mehul Choksi is concerned, saying that he kept referring and taking details as far as other countries in the Caribbean are concerned, kept consulting with her. Of course, he kept showering her with expensive gifts such as jewelry and giving us more details. All right, I believe Barbara is back with us. Barbara, two very important questions that I want to ask you. First and foremost, I want to know that if Indian authorities seek your help in terms of this investigation, would you be willing to cooperate? All But I think we've lost that line there. We've lost that line there with Barbara. We will try and once again reconnect with Barbara. Very, very important information that she's telling us, that she's currently in Europe, not willing to divulge more in terms of the location, but in terms of Mehul Choksi rubbishing the theory that she was in any way involved with his alleged quote-unquote kidnapping, saying that this was just a plan B that was perhaps made by Mehul Choksi to try and shift blame upon her, and that she had absolutely nothing to do with him traveling out of Antigua. At the same time saying that he used to regularly meet her and that he used to in fact try and shower her with very expensive gifts, had several conversations about travel to other Caribbean countries and other nations, and kept asking her about where she had traveled. This is some of the major revelations that are coming in as far as Mehul Choksi is concerned. Barbara Jabarica, in fact, who was alleged by Mehul Choksi and his legal team and his family to be the person who they allege, quote unquote, had sort of trapped Mehul Choksi, now completely denying those charges. Speaking exclusively here at Times Now from Europe, where she currently is located, Barbara Jabarica completely, in fact, denying all of those charges as far as Mehul Choksi is concerned. Let's go across to Siddhant Mishra, if he's still with us. Siddhant, very, very important and very, very explosive details coming in from what Barbara Jabarica has shared with us. She is, in fact, completely rubbishing the theory that she was in any way involved with Mehul Choksi, or the quote-unquote abduction theory that his lawyers would have us believe. All right, let's listen once again to that entire interaction.
Ms. Jarabica, thank you so much for speaking to Times Now, exclusively to Times Now. My first question to you is that did Mr. Choksi identify himself as Raj? And you have some WhatsApp chats also with you in which you have saved his number as Mr. Raj. Can you explain that?
Yes, sure. Good afternoon. So, yes, since day one, I met him last year, August. He introduced himself as Raj, and also, people in the restaurant, wherever we went, everyone welcomed him and said hi, called him as Raj. So this is how I knew him. He had a few different numbers on WhatsApp. So I always saved it, as Raj, and so on. But he also often texted me on Signal. That one was normally like US numbers. The WhatsApp was normally UK numbers. And the US numbers just came up with different names. Sometimes it was Bob and Judy and like really different random names. And after I just got you and then he said always like, hi, it's Raj here. And then we talked in whichever number he contacted from.
Okay. Ms. Jarabica, one more question. When did you and Mr. Choksi became friends? And you were close friends. This is what appears from the WhatsApp messages. But was it something beyond the friendship also?
No, it wasn't. No way. It wasn't beyond the friendship. So as you might heard in my other already my other interview as well. So we were friends, and also he offered me some business opportunities. At the beginning, first he offered some opportunities to do with jewelry, and told me that that's what is that he said he retired and then he can help making money with jewelry. I told him that I'm not interested and that's not my background. So then after that, we started to, he started to propose me different business opportunities with properties. And he said that he's very well connected and help me funding and investing and do property. And yes, he did started to, he started to like me and send me those messages. I never never took it seriously. And I told him, sometimes in a joke way, sometimes in a serious way. I told him that, I'm in a relationship with a Hungarian guy, and I'm really happy. And he's really not my he's double my age and so on. So we never ever had anything beyond friendship or talking about.
At least from your side. Okay, Ms. Jarabica, one more thing. You have mentioned and you have said that he had gifted you some diamonds, some jewelry which were fake, which were not original. Is that correct?
Well, he gave me a bracelet in April, and he gave me a ring in May. And he said that it's a diamond. And then after reading, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so and I wasn't too surprised anymore after all these lies, and he didn't even presented himself. I always thought that he is a good friend for 1 year, and it turns out that he is a totally different person what I knew. So I am not surprised at all. I just but answering your question, I took it to a shop, and they told me that it is the ring is not diamond. So
okay, Barbara, now why we are doing this interview is that you have been in news in India for quite some time. Now, the lawyers of Mehul Choksi, and even Mehul Choksi, has given a complaint to Antiguan police, and he has made these allegations that you were very much a part of an extraction team, the team which extracted him, which allegedly abducted him, and you were someone who took him to one isolated bungalow in Antigua. And there, when you both entered inside the bungalow, 8 to 10 people came inside the bungalow, and he was abducted. Mr. Choksi was abducted. So these are his claims. What you have to say on these claims?
So first of all, regarding the choice of the Airbnb, the choice of the accommodation, he offered me, you probably saw on those messages as well, he offered me to book my flight ticket or book my hotel, which I never expected because accepted because I thought, I can pay myself, and also I didn't want him to misunderstand our friendship, and I didn't want to accept any of these payments or booking for him. So after that, he was the one who asked me. He constantly called me and pushed me almost every day when I'm coming back to Antigua. And then he also asked me to at least promise that, please, this time you stay in the area really close to me. So again, for me, luring him and forcing him to come.
Okay, Barbara, can you hear me again? We are connected.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, Barbara, I just want to know, I really want to know this. On 23rd May, the day he went missing, what exactly happened? Where were you? Because in a complaint that he has given to police, he has mentioned that you asked him to take a detour from the normal route. You went to an isolated bungalow. You had your wine there. And the time he entered the bungalow, this 8 to 10 people with good physique, muscular body entered and kidnapped him. This is what he has mentioned in his statement. What exactly happened on 23rd May? Did you guys meet on 23rd May? And where were you on 23rd of May? The very significant date.
So on, as I mentioned earlier, on the 23rd May, which the Sunday was my last day in Antigua, and it wasn't the bungalow, or I forced him to visit my accommodation or anything like that. I stayed there. I stayed there the whole week, and he was the one who recommended me to make sure that I stay in Jolly Harbor in that side, whereas I can stay close to him rather than in a different part of the island or in English Harbor, which is further down to where he stays. So he was the one who recommended me the accommodation at first place. On that day, which I already told you, that day we went for a breakfast in the morning. He picked me up in Jolly Harbor. I think it was around 9 o'clock in the morning. We went to Carly's Bay. We had breakfast. We talked there a little bit more, talked about business and what are upcoming plans, or when do I in the next few months, and when do I come back to the island again. And as I said, he was trying to convince me to stay in the island and don't leave Antigua on that day. But I told him I'm gonna go to Antigua, and because I really wanted to do, I never.
Barbara, I think there is some audio disturbance. Am I audible? Okay, I think there is some technical snag. Barbara, am I audible? Barbara, am I audible? Can you hear me? Barbara, can you hear me? Hello? Barbara?
Yeah, I can. Can we?
Yeah,
yes.
carry on. Whatever you were saying, carry on. Yeah.
Okay, so where have I been? The connection lost.
You were saying you went out for a breakfast, then you returned home, then he was requesting you to stay on the island. You can go ahead from there.
Yeah, so I told him that I'm going to Dominica, and then after Dominica, I'm going to come back again to Europe. And I may visit, I try if I can, I may visit back in June or July maybe. So because last time as well, I was in Dominica, and I always wanted to do that walking in a boiling lake in Dominica. So I told him I'm also gonna go back. I don't want just to, keep visiting back to Antigua, the same island. So after when we got back from Carly's Bay, which is about half an hour drive away, we got back probably around midday or before midday, quite early from the breakfast. And then he told me that he still, he's sad and so disappointed, and he still can't believe that I'm leaving and I stayed for such a short time. And then after that, we said goodbye. I picked up my golf car, went back to my apartment, and then I had a couple of hours left. So I was in my balcony. I was sunbathing. I was video calling with my mother. After that, I went in my apartment. I went upstairs. I was packing. Listening music, and then I got ready. I went to have a shower, washed my hair, and around 3 o'clock or after 3 o'clock, I went to the airport. And
you went to the airport to take flight to?
I went to the airport to go to take flight to go to Dominica.
Acha, to go to take flight to Dominica. And what time is that?
It was around, I think, well, I didn't track, but I think I left around 3 o'clock.
Okay, at 3 o'clock. Okay. Speaking to you very frankly, Barbara, we were told by Mrs. Preeti Choksi that you were into a business of interior designing, house renovation. How did you came in contact with Mr. Choksi, and what was the mutual business interest or understanding between you two?
Okay, so that's another false info. I am not really, interior designer, not for sure, clients from buying, investing in lands and properties. So I went to see several properties in the island. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Carry on.
Yeah. So that was one of the purpose. I actually originally went to Antigua, as well as the sunshine and a bit of holiday, as long as you can also enjoy. But I never got in contact with with Mehul Choksi because of business or property, actually. So as I told you that in August, I with some friends rented Airbnb, which is on the same island where his residence is. And then apparently, when there's a manager guy as well, who is like a maintenance person manager who runs all these Airbnbs. And then apparently that he also has investment on these in these houses. Well, we call it the yellow. It's like yellow color. We call it the yellow houses. And he also has some investments as well in that island. So I didn't talk to him during my host when I was checking out from the manager guy, who is, and he didn't pick up the phone. And when Mehul was walking, he was asking like, what are we looking for? How can he help? And he said, oh, no problem. He's one of the person here. He's one of the shareholder and he's in charge, and don't worry, and we can just leave the key under the carpet on the door. And then he was the one, he was like friendly, offering if we need anything in the island, he's here, he's happy to help, he's the best contact, and he asked for my number. So this is how I got to know him in August on my last day when I was checking out from the Airbnb.
Okay. So were you into the business of interior decoration or renovation of the houses?
No, not at all. I never. I've been viewing properties and lands also in the other part of the island as well, not just in Jolly Harbor, but I didn't have any transaction or renovation or any business in Antigua.
Okay, a very last question. Along with you, he has also named one Narendra Singh and Gurmeet Singh in the complaint. Do you know these two Indians, or have you ever seen them snooping, or have you ever seen them around Mr. Mehul Choksi? Mr. Narendra Singh and Gurmeet Singh. Two others have also been named in the complaint made by Mr. Choksi.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures on the boat, something looping around. I never saw them. I don't know them, and I never saw them in my life at all.
Okay. One more question. In the complaint, he mentioned that in the isolated house, there were 8 to 10 people who came inside, and Mehul Choksi was badly beaten up by them. And then he was shifted on a watercraft, a small boat, and he was taken and he was smuggled to Dominica. So this is what Mr. Choksi and his lawyers are alleging.
Yes, and what is the question?
Can you confirm, or can you deny this?
Yeah, 100%. Like I don't. This is what they say, that this happened. Personally, as I said, I think it's impossible to kidnap someone in the daytime in the busiest area and busiest time of the day. Like Saturday and Sunday, the busiest in Jolly Harbor. Like if you go to the area, you see there is a lot of constantly lot of golf cars on the road, a lot of people walking from the beach. Everyone is sitting outside in the balconies. Some people, they doing, like those small boats and paddling. So it is literally impossible to kidnap someone with such a secure area and 5 o'clock in daylight on a Sunday afternoon. So
Barbara,
it's
if in case
impossible.
Antiguan police summons you or asks you to come to Antigua to get your statement recorded, will you cooperate with the law enforcement agencies in Antigua?
Yes, sure, absolutely. I will be, happy to cooperate and support the investigation and then give them every information that I know.
Okay. Barbara, was Mr. Choksi a very flamboyant and very powerful in Antiguan system? Like he had a good contacts with the politicians and bureaucrats in Antigua. Can you confirm this?
I'm not aware of that. Again, he never mentioned anything like this to me.
Okay. Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you so much for speaking to Times Now. Thanks.